training needs to be two things. It needs to be ongoing, it needs to be intense, and it never, ever stops.
Carl J. Cox here with $4 million Strategies. Today we're here with Dr. Amir Rashidian, author of Cracking the Stress Secret. Today he's going to tell us what is the best way that you can help keep going with ongoing training. Dr. Amir, let's hear it.
Most people don't train enough. But if you look at athletes, they practice and train 99% of the time. There's a saying that says 99% grind, 1% glory. Well, what do we do in business? It's the exact opposite. The training is the onboarding that we do at the beginning, and that's it. You train someone for a week, 2 weeks, maybe 90 days is their initial probationary period, and then you throw them in there, and then there's no more training after that. And what if they forget what you taught them? What if they could be fine-tuning or improving? Training needs to be two things. It needs to be ongoing, it needs to be intense, and it never, ever stops. Ongoing and intense training. We have it scheduled in our business. We have a training we do as a whole team, all of us. Then I do a training specific with just the doctors. And then I have my wife, who's partner in the business. She does training with the assistants. And so it's 3 hours of training per week, every single week. It is scheduled and it gets done. No exceptions. You need to schedule your training. You need to plan it in advance. You have to have a curriculum, and it has to be good. Think about a football team, right? A football team, let's say they want to, the play is onside kick. Well, what if they've never practiced it? What if they only practiced it one time? How successful? The chance of success of an onside kick are so low as it is. But what if they've done it 100 times in practice and now they do it in an actual game? If you're doing it in an actual game, you better have practiced it. So in our business, we literally do scenario training. New patient walks in. This is what they say. What do? Here's how we do it. Here's how we could do it better. So we call it ICE. We need to ICE everything. ICE means it's an acronym for intention, certainty, expectation. So for everything, we go, what's your intention? So you're going to say hello to the patient. You're going to greet the patient properly. What's your intention? Well, intention is I want to make the patient feel comfortable. I want to make the patient feel loved and welcomed, and get rid of any anxiety or stress they might have by walking into a doctor's office for the first time. So that's the intention. What's your certainty? Certainty is I am certain that what I'm about to do is the right thing to do. And your expectation is they're going to feel good about it. They're going to say, wow, this is different than any other place I've been to. So you train on that, even if it's a simple thing. How do you smile? How do you shake hands? How many people know when you shake a hand, you should look them in the eye? You know, a lot of people don't look the other person in the eye when they're shaking their hands. Train on that. Practice that. You know, we believe if you shake a hand with your palm slightly up, that's an act of service. I am at your service. So we practice even the handshake with the doctors when we're shaking a patient's hand. But it goes so much beyond that. We are scripted. So we practice our scripts, but it can't appear as a script, right? But why we script is so we never forget to say everything we need to say to the patient. We don't want one patient to get a really great experience and one not. So it has to be scripted. So if you're going to script something, you got to train it. But if you're reading a script, it's going to sound robotic. So how many times do you have to say it before it sounds normal and natural? You've got to practice all the time. Those two things are, it has to be intense, it has to be ongoing, and you've got to schedule it, and you've got to be consistent, and you've got to keep repeating over and over and over. If you do that, you'll train your employees, and they'll be able to do a good job for you.
You nailed it, and that's one of the best explanations on how to keep ongoing training I've ever heard. Dr. Amir, thank you so much for bringing it today to $4 million Strategies.